Hi guys out there in the internet world. How y'all doing today? J Cherry here. Got a lot to talk about today, and let me just pull this up so you guys can check out my website. Out of Facebook jail after 30 days. So if you want to follow me on my Telegram channel, please do so. That would be great. I'm going to pull that up for you. It's going to have my counter. But you'll see, follow me on my Telegram channel. So that's TME/JCherryPresents, where I can share a lot more information and I'm not going to be easily censored for there, although I trust nothing in the age of COVID and all the strangeness that has been happening. A lot to discuss today. So the first thing that I want to get into, I'm going to do this call right now. I want to call the governor's office with you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to talk to the aide. I already spoke with the aide, and there's kind of a legality whether I can record his call without his permission kind of thing. So I'm not going to record a conversation with the aide because that's recently come to my attention. It's kind of a gray area with somebody like me who's doing a podcast and doing it in radio. You can do that all the time. So it's a little bit of a gray area. So to stay out of that gray area, I'm going to call the governor's office because for the first time ever, being a Connecticut citizen for 30 years now, for the first time ever, calling the governor's office, I've never heard the term constituent services, guys. Like, I kid you not. So I'm going to pull this up. Let me hold on a second while I get this together and pull this audio up. Actually, no. Let me call the governor's office because I've recorded audio I want to share with you. So I'm going to call the governor's office, and you're going to listen to the message and the prompts because, like I said, I've never heard anything like this calling the governor's office ever. Usually you call the governor's office, you know, you can get a message, you can get an automated message, you've reached the office of Governor Lamont, or, you know, usually back in the day, and I call Malloy, even Malloy wasn't this bad. And you get like a more normal type of message. Now you get this. So let me just give him a call. And what I recommend with all of the elected officials, what you do is just stick it right there. You can't see that on my phone. It's a waste of time to show it to you. But you just plug these numbers into your phone. That way that you have them, so you don't always have to look up, oh, I want to call the governor's office, even though it seems like it could be a waste of time, especially with a message like this. So I'm going to call. You're going to hear this. I'm going to hang up before the aide comes on. I'm sure he's busy today. And I recommend you call him as well. His number is 860-566-4840. Plug that into your phone. Put Governor Lamont. One time somebody thought I had his personal phone number. No, I don't have Governor Lamont's personal phone number. I put in his public contact number. So Lamont has come into our state, and he has been leading by executive fiat for almost 2 years now. So most of his term has been in these emergency-like conditions, and Lamont really likes his powers. In fact, Lamont is going to be extending his powers, or trying to, for more time coming up soon. His powers expire on September 30th, and he is going for another extension of emergency powers so he can continue with mandates. Anyway, I'm not going to draw conclusions or opinions on about like what mandates or whatever. I'm just saying what is going on because I have a lot of opinions right now and I'm kind of flustered. So I'm going to just stay with everything that's happening. So anyway, so let me call this office and let's play this for you guys. I'm going to stick it up close so that you can hear it. I'm going to stick it up close to my mic so you can hear it. So I want you to hear the recording here.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Ned Lamont. To continue this call in Spanish, please press 1. Your call is important to us. For all unemployment issues with the Department of Labor, please press 2. To expedite your unemployment claims or other concerns, you can also email us at ui.governor@ct.gov. Our constituent services representatives are available.
Constituent services?
From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also dial 211 to access United Way's free referral helpline for health and human service information, including coronavirus testing sites. Calls are answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To speak to a constituent services representative, please hold for the next available person. For questions regarding COVID-19, the reopening of the state, or related issues, you can also
like I said, I'm not going to record. I've already had a discussion with the aide today. So what I learned from the aide today, I recommend everybody calls. I had to play you guys that message because I hadn't called the governor's office in a minute. And I haven't heard anything like that before. There was another different kind of messages, but now it's saying constituent services. What the hell is that? What the hell is constituent services? It's just something about that is just really rubs me the wrong way. But then it goes in through like the unemployment and, you know, the 211. It's a very bizarre message, but I encourage you to call Governor Lamont. Let him know how you feel about medical mandates. And he's also talking about mandating the COVID vaccine to children. I've got more to talk about that as well today. So let me get right into a couple of important things. So yesterday I called, Senator Norm Needleman of the 33rd District here in the fine state of Connecticut robocalled me. How fortunate was I about a teleconference? And so I asked a question. So I'm going to play you my question. Actually, my question wasn't recorded. By the time I started to record, because like, oh, I should be recording this instead of writing it down. So by the time I decided to record the question, the answer and stuff, I got part of Norm Needleman's answer and I got all of the doctor's answers. So what the doctor says to me, the question is, I'm concerned about myocarditis in my young, healthy teenagers, and I'm concerned that there is a risk, and I don't want to have them vaccinated. I'm also concerned that if they're not vaccinated, that they could be ostracized if the mandates come through. So it's a twofold question that you don't hear. You're going to hear Norm Needleman coming in and talking about mandates, and then immediately you're going to hear everything the doctor is telling me. Now, I've read the Comorbidity package insert. I have links in my show notes, which I will post in Facebook, and they should be posted in YouTube already. Twitter, I always have trouble with that, with the 145 character things. I apologize, Twitter. I wish Twitter would let you put more than 145 characters. My notes might be 145 characters, but anyway. Let me pull this up. So actually, let me explain a little bit more. So this is a doctor that was on Norm Needleman's panel for his town hall last night on a robocall that I just fortunately happened to be called. I was like, yay. Oh, I'd love to ask a question. So nobody ever lets me ask any questions. So it's really, really great. You know, they cut me off, of course, because I kept asking more questions. But it was great to be able to do that, to have because dialogue is really, really important. And when we're shut off from this dialogue, it becomes a major problem. So she comes in, she gives the information. I'm just going to play this for you. Hold on while I pull this up. So I'm going to play the recording. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear this the way I've set it up in my system. So let me play this.
This is mandated, if this is approved for 5 to 12-year-olds, or what the governor's plans will be with regard to, with regard to whether it should or shouldn't be a mandate. I'm not aware of it at this moment, but the health questions are more directed for the health professionals as opposed to me.
So I can jump in in regards to the medical question. Just so you know, so you know where I'm coming from. So I'm a mother of a teenager as well, and her school is mandating the vaccine, and I was happy that they did. So my child is vaccinated. But in regards to your concerns, here's what, in medicine, we always weigh benefits and the risk. Anytime somebody is prescribing a medication, whether it's an antibiotic or a heart medication, we always worry about the worst kind of side effects. Vaccines are no exception. Yes, there is a risk. This is a very low risk of the vaccine causing myocarditis. But here's where the risk is really significant. COVID causes significant myocarditis. I've seen it time and time again in adults and in children. And the consequences of that myocarditis caused by COVID are much more long-lasting than from the vaccine. So far, vast majority of people who've had myocarditis had no long-lasting consequences, and by long-lasting means that the heart function resumed to normal, and when this happens, we do not anticipate that the heart function will worsen at any point in the future. So that is very reassuring. Of course, it's a very scary side effect. It's extremely rare, but looking at the benefits and the risks of vaccination versus the risks of the illness itself, and especially with the latest significant increase in children getting hospitalized, that is, to me, still a good point for someone to get vaccinated. And I'm not going to get into details about the mandates, but as a medical professional, if I were to see a child with a teenager, I would absolutely recommend getting vaccinated.
I appreciate that. I'm just very concerned because the package insert that's sent out, just recently approved vaccine, does say they do not know the long-term consequences. Why does it say that in there if there is no worries about it?
They have to say that because in order to make a statement otherwise, they have to prove over several months and years that there is no indeed long-term consequences. So by rule, and I remember the vaccines take usually 10 years to come to market from the inception.
That's exactly my concern.
This happened over 6 months, so there is no really quote-unquote long-term. But we know other causes of myocarditis that are caused by other viruses. And this is usually not reversible. If the virus causes myocarditis, it's usually something that will continue to affect heart muscle for months and years to come, and may cause really significant and life-changing consequences. If something has happened as a result of the vaccine or a medication, it is most often, and we never say never in medicine, that's why I say most commonly, most often, it is usually irreversible, and if it does reverse, it does not come back. So that's where my rationale is coming from.
I appreciate that. I'm just concerned that, like you said, that...
And again,
you are now in listen-only mode.
please press 0 and you'll connect to our friendly officer.
So there you guys have it. That was, so that call, let me just make sure I stop that, guys. I apologize. Hold on a second. Let me get that stopped. So that... Now, I don't know the expert's name. I called Needleman's aide twice because after that call, the call dropped. And you know what's interesting? So I got this robocall to be part of this town hall, which was my lucky day. You know something? I'm a woman of faith, and the Holy Spirit gives me a lot of hope. I got to have faith in this crazy world, and I feel like, there's just those times in life where you can feel the power of the Holy Spirit. And me getting that robocall was that Holy Spirit kind of like, oh, you can feel that twinkling. I can feel Grandma in the heavens on my shoulder saying, go get him, Jen. So that I looked up on Senator Norm Needleman's page, and I can't find anything about this telecall town hall. Now, I don't know if he just did it for my town of Portland, but I looked on his page. I looked on his website because I'm like, well, who is this panel? Who is this doctor is talking to? I lost the call. So I called the aide twice to get the doctor's name. I'm assuming she probably is somebody from Yale. Connecticut is very deeply connected to Yale. A lot of the medical stuff that is decided is you'll get a lot of Yale experts that will come up to hearings, public hearings. When our Capitol building was open, we actually had public hearings for the public when they have laws. Now the building's locked and the legislators are getting drunk while the people are locked out of the building. And then they're passing all these laws. So, there you go. That's on the myocarditis. I got a lot more to say about that. So let me take you guys over here. So this was an interesting thing. I have sleepless nights. I don't know about you guys. I have sleepless nights. Let me take you here first, and then I'm going to take you over to what the UK is doing with kids under 18 years old. But I want to take you over here first. I'm going to share the screen. Hold on a second while I share the screen. I want to take you here first, and let me get you onto Safari. Okay, are we on to Safari? Let me see here. Live in real time, guys. Hold on a second. Where's that share screen? Here we go. Sorry about that. So this is not what I want to take you to first. I'm going to take you back onto Twitter in a little bit. So there's a link. I'll put the link here. So this is really kind of important. You need to know about this. Thank you, Governor Ned Lamont. Yeah, for fascism. Sorry, I'm a little bit tweaked right now. This is called the Connecticut Whiz Access My Immunization Records. Well, guess what you could do? You could go to this link, and it's in my show notes. I hope that's posted on Facebook. If it's not on my Facebook, in the description, I will make sure that you have access to it, but you can get this link. And you can go and you can type in your name or your child's name. And I also got news for you. You can opt out of this as well. I will stick that after this video on Facebook. I will stick the screenshot in there, and on Twitter, I will do that too. So that it's very easy to do. You fax them. It takes them a couple of days. They're going to send you a letter like this in the mail. Okay, so they send a letter like this in the mail. Let me just show you. This is my letter from the state of Connecticut telling me that my children are opted out. Do you know how freaking glad I opted my kids out? My 16-year, I am so flipping glad I did that. Now, there are people who are saying they're really paranoid. Hey, man, I get your paranoia. I totally do. I get your paranoia that we're going to be on a list. Look, I'm probably on many lists at this point in my life. I can't live in fear. That's where that Holy Spirit energy and that hope and that God light come into me to just help guide me through all this insanity right now in this world that we're living in, because it's really scary. And I don't mean to be dramatic or hyperbolic, but this is the world we're in. So they can type in your personal information, type in your name, and if you have a record in their system, it's going to show up. So there you go. You guys can all try this out. And you know what? Let me see if I can make sure I get you those show notes. I'm live in real time, but I want to make sure I get those. I bet you guys are out there saying, I need that link. I need to look up and see if my kids are. So let me see if I can do this live while I'm live in real time and comment here. Oops. No, we don't want to do that. Yep, here I do. I'm in the live commenting. In real time, but I want to make sure I get those. Here we go. It's going. You guys are out there saying, I need that link. I need that's gone. Sorry about that, guys. So let me get back over to here. So there we go. This is the state of Connecticut. So my show notes, I just put them into Facebook. Twitter, I'll do that afterwards. I've put this out a lot on Twitter. I've been in Facebook jail for a while. I've been very active on Twitter. So you can follow me on Twitter, which is a little, I've been in Twitter jail for about 12 hours recently for posting. I can't even remember what I did. What did I do? Oh, I told somebody to wrap themselves up in bubble wrap if they were that concerned. And that got me into, but I commented on a bot. So watch out for trolls. Don't argue with trolls. You're wasting your time. And it'll probably get you into like a censorship, or you'll catch more trolls that will follow you and censor you. This is kind of what I'm learning as I go. So this is very important. This Connecticut, now he did this to adults too, guys. So this is the kids, and this is also adults as well. Oops, and I got my phone number up there. Oy vey. But that doesn't matter. I put my phone number on my business card. Anyway, so you can check this out, and they're going to email you, but they'll tell you right away if they have nothing in there. So this is the thing that Lamont, thank you, Governor Lamont, for giving away our privacy so that anyone could type this in. Now, I've typed in because I have a bunch of people in my family that I care about, and I'm checking to see if their records are public like this. So they only let you check so many names before they cut you off. You could probably put in different phone numbers, or have like your friend do it, like people that you're close to. You want to look up other close family members, see if they're on there. Like I told you, you guys can opt out of this. I will see the information is out there to opt out of that. I will put a screenshot, not right now, that's too complicated, but I had screenshotted it. Somebody turned me on to that screenshot where they just took a picture of it, which they work, those screenshots, and you can put them around with the link to get to the place that people look at it more than they're going to necessarily with a link. So, yeah, thank you, Governor Ned Lamont, for releasing this information, for turning all of our, so your neighbor could look you up. Anyone can. It's going to ask you what you could pick anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is the state of Connecticut right now. This is your state, Connecticut. This is us. This is our freaking governor. Do you know, when I first moved to Connecticut, I thought this was one of the best places. I was so happy to be here. I had my children at home. I homeschooled my children. I regret ever putting my children in public school, FYI. I wish I never did. I have high schoolers now. They're 16 years old. I'm like, drop out. They're like, no, Mom, we don't want to drop out. I teach my children to make decisions for themselves. They're young adults, in my opinion. They are still under 18 years old, but they are young adults. One of them has just bought his own car with his own money. God bless my son. I will fight tooth and nail to protect his safety, to protect his young, thriving, athletic, strong heart. I will do whatever I can to fight back on this. This is my life's mission, to protect my children, and not just my children, but all the children, and help empower parents to get out there, use their voice. Now is the time more than ever to get up and stand up. That's why Facebook is always kicking me off of their platform. Probably going to get thrown into Facebook jail. That's why you should follow me on Telegram. I'm going to be putting up most of my videos up on Rumble, looking into possibly doing my lives on Rumble, but that costs a fee, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe you guys can help me crowdsource it. I'll come up with a plan for that a little bit later on. Let's move right along. So this morning I can't sleep, and then I come across this. I couldn't sleep last night. I mean, like, I'm having the worst insomnia. I don't know about you guys, but this stuff is driving me nuts. And I'm having the worst insomnia lately. So let's just blow this up a little bit. This is really good news. Finally, something good coming out of the, you know, the COVID world of Orwell. This is the British government. Okay, and I'm going to show you how this happened. Let me just blow this, see if I could blow this up for you guys. The British government decided Monday not to inoculate most children and teenagers against COVID-19 until more data on the available vaccines becomes available. Like, isn't that just like a basic, you know, according to the Nuremberg Code, informed consent is a prerequisite for any medical procedure. And it doesn't have to be, it's not just about an experimental medical procedure. Any medical procedure, you have a right to informed consent and you have a right to decline, okay? So, children as young as 12 with severe neurodisabilities, Down syndrome, immunosuppression, and multiple or severe learning disabilities, as well as those who are household contacts of individuals who are immunosuppressed, will be eligible for vaccination, the government said. So they're not mandating it for any population, but they left it out there for those who feel that that would be in the best interest of their child. I would make a comment on this, but I'm just going to let that be, because that would be more my opinion and not anything based in actual facts. But I have ideas and opinions on this paragraph here, but we'll leave that alone for now. So that was pretty good news. The decision to hold off giving shots to most people under age 18 was based on the recommendation of an expert advisory panel. So the doctor that I just talked to, she was telling me how great mandates are, and she's so happy that her teenager has been injected. Well, that's your choice if that's what you choose to do. I've read the vaccine package insert. Don't tell me that this myocarditis is going to be less severe with a vaccine than it is from the natural virus. Yes, you can get a myocarditis from a virus. That is extremely rare. Myocarditis from a virus to a young and healthy teenager is not typical, okay? You would have to be like very ill and have like lots of problems, maybe no access to proper nutrition or clean water for a virus to do that to your body. Okay, if we were having an epidemic of myocarditis in just COVID for children, we would be hearing a different story than what we're hearing right now, where the myocarditis is not associated with the natural virus, but with the jab. Okay? There is a protein that the heart produces that when these kids get this injection are producing such an intense amount of this protein. I can't think of the medical term of the protein. I know that that's how they diagnose myocarditis. They're checking for this protein. When you have an abundance of this protein, it leads to a heart attack. When a child's heart inflames from myocarditis, there can be permanent scar tissue. Life expectancy is shortened. Myocarditis is no joke. Go read about it. There's tons of information out there. I don't need to give you a link. You can go and do that research. You can look it up on all the different websites. You can read studies, and I suggest that you do. Because if you have two eyes in your head, you can read and discern. You can read science. So, fortunately, the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization said the health benefits of universal vaccination don't outweigh the risks for most young people who typically suffer only mild symptoms to the virus. So you mean like this doctor here in Connecticut who was just telling me that she recommends that I do it, that myocarditis from COVID is more dangerous than myocarditis from the vaccine? She's got her facts backwards. This is probably gonna like, what? I mean, this, I'm not making it up. It's not something, what would I gain by making this up? This is right here. This is England. This is the UK. Today's advice does not recommend vaccinating under 18s without underlying health conditions, which that, again, I will leave my opinions out of that one. Okay? I think everybody has the right. First of all, nobody should be giving medical advice. That's just the number one. Nobody should be giving medical advice. I'm not going to advocate for you to do anything to your body. I'm advocating for choice, for informed consent. What you do, I love people who are vaccinated, and I love people who are not vaccinated, okay? I have people that I love in my life. I'm not going to reject anyone based on what they do with their medical status. This is ridiculous. So, there we go. So England has a little bit of sense for 5 minutes. Let's hope it lasts. It says Health Secretary Saeed Javad, I think I'm saying that right, I'm not 100% sure, said in a statement, but the JCVI will continue to review new data and consider whether to recommend vaccinating under 18s without underlying conditions at a future date. Look, man, always, this should always be a choice. Why is that so difficult? Informed consent is a human right. If I'm censored for talking about informed consent, I want to sue. I want to sue these giant tech giants. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up because I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. What I mean is I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, actually. Okay? Because if my children are injected with this stuff, they could be subjected to a serious life-threatening heart condition. And young women, okay, the spike protein goes into the ovaries, okay? That's what it does. It's full of spike proteins. The injection has spike proteins. They go into the ovaries. Whether you get the J&J, the Moderna, or the Pfizer, they all have the spike protein. They're just different vectors. One's an mRNA vector, one's an endovirus vector. I know a lot about this as I spent hours reading about it. I'm not the only one that does that. There are millions of mamas out there like me who spend hours and hours and hours reading about this stuff. So, okay, what is the other thing? Oh, let me just bring you up the study, because you guys should know about this too. So this is a study that I got from the court case in England that was able to stop the mandatory, the mass vaccination of the teens in the UK. The United Kingdom is holding off on the mass vaccination of their young people, whereas Governor Lamont is ready to, like, mandate it. He's ready, he's like, you know, this is insane. So Governor Lamont is just like, he's heavy into it. And Governor Lamont, by the way, his wife, Annie Huntress Lamont, owns a venture capital company called Oak Healthcare FinTech. Oak Healthcare FinTech is a giant in venture capitalism. Annie Huntress Lamont, Governor Lamont's wife, was quoted in Forbes magazine as the lady with the Midas touch, meaning she's one of the most powerful female venture capitalists on the planet. Her company, she's got billions of dollars. The Lamonts drive in a private jet. They hide their money. SEMA4 is the testing giant in Connecticut. The SEMA4, if you get testing at your school, that's who it's going to be. It's going to be SEMA4 doing those tests. We don't know how much the state of Connecticut is paying each and every individual test. We have no idea. It's proprietary information. You know what that means? That means the quasi-public-private partnership that put all this together doesn't have to say, because it's business rights. This is so wrong, guys. Public-private partnerships. I wrote a very long article called Governor Lamont in a Lost Constitution State. You can find that on my website at jterrypresents.com, where I get into the public-private partnerships and the decay of the state of Connecticut. So this, I suggest that you go through the whole study. So one of the ways that you read the study, you can read the methods, the procedures, but what's really interesting, and this is just their, like, when you go through the study in the beginning of the paper, it's going to just give you like little tidbits of stuff, and then there's things that are buried more deeply in there. So what you want to do when you read these studies, you want to read through it all, but you're really going to get a lot of information when you go into the reactogenicity. That's where you're going to start to see things, you're going to start to see what's going on. So this is a chart, and as you can see, I'm going to blow this up a little bit for you. Sorry, I got something in my throat. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So this is a chart, and this is just telling you, and you know what's really good, and I got to say that ICANN was instrumental in this. So ICANN Decide is a great network. I didn't put a link in there for that, but all you have to do is look them up. The Highwire and ICANN Decide. a great resource, and the I Can Decide is a legal team, so they've done a lot to help out in the medical freedom fight, because this has been a fight that's been ongoing for a while. COVID is just like the grand finale brouhaha fight that's happening right now. So you can see here that you have your placebos, and this is what I was going to say with ICANN. They demanded that the government, that Pfizer, use a placebo, a real placebo, because in prior vaccine studies they used a adjuvant. Now, anyone out in the medical freedom movement who's like me and has read a ton of medical studies knows what an adjuvant is. But basically what an adjuvant does, in a quick, easy way to explain it, it stimulates the immune system. What they do is they take a weakened version of the virus or a dead version of the virus, they put it in a vector, animal cells, aborted fetal cells, hate to tell you, that's vaccinology, man. And they put it in a vector. And then the vector is used to get that virus into the body, and the adjuvant is used to like stimulate a reaction. Typically an adjuvant could be mercury. Aluminum is the pretty popular one. There's now one called squalene. The military is very familiar with squalene, which is like this kind of shark oil. And they use that in the anthrax vaccine that caused a lot of problems for the military, which is why they're very, very upset about these mandates. So this is the study where they're going to try and release the vaccine eligibility to children, little children. This is coming. They said by Halloween. I said, well, that's perfect for Halloween. That's as scary as heck, right? So they're going to release this around Halloween. And I don't mean it's perfect. It's never perfect. Our children are in danger, okay? So this is the study. You guys should read this. You take this over to your legislatures. You take this over to your representative. You request a meeting from your representative. If it has to be by phone, you get a meeting from them. And you tell them, and you bring this study up to them. And then you also tell them that the UK, okay? And for anyone who just tuned in, let me just pull this up so you guys can see it. We're not going to reread the whole thing here. But the UK opts not to vaccinate most under 18s against COVID-19. Now, just remember that these headlines never give you the full details, right? If they're not vaccinating, they're not mandating these vaccines to children. They're allowing parents who feel that they want to get their children vaccinated if they have health issues or learning disabilities. Well, how would that make you more susceptible to COVID? See, eugenics. I said it. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so the kids like Down syndrome and people with learning disabilities are eligible for the shot. True story. So you can read this. This is the UK, and this was just happening, and they have a battle, and there's a continuing legal battle with this at the UK. So let's see. Here we go. And I want to take you over to, there was one more thing that I wanted to show you. Let me just play you a Dr. Fauci for a second. Let me play you this Dr. Fauci. This is really scary. I'm going to play you this. Hold on a second. Not here. Here we go. Just give me a second. I just got to get in there, guys. Apologize. Oh, I don't want to play the whole thing. Just listen to a little bit. I guess I'm having some internet problems. Maybe we can't play the doctor. This is in my show notes, so you could go look this up yourself. I'm having, for some reason, this video is not wanting to play. I'm not sure why. I'm not 100% sure why. Anyway, he's just going on to say that he wants to have these kids injected. He wants more mandates. They want a mandate for travel on a plane. There's even talk of mandating, travel by state. I mean, like a real serious case of show me your papers, like in the most scary kind of way. It's probably good I can't play his video and listen to his babbling mouth. But yeah, so he's really pushing more for this. And this is getting really, really scary. So I want to take you over to here. This is something you should also know about. This is, I'm going to type in this. Let me type this in for you. So you can, this is also in the, in my notes. So, this is Shipman and Goodwin. They are Let me blow this up a little bit for you guys. I think you can see that pretty well. Let me just blow it up just a tad bit. This is Shipment and Goodman. So this is a tracker. So you could track where all of the PPP loans go to. So this is federal government money. This is really our money. So let me just tell you a little bit about Shipment and Goodwin. Okay, so Shipment and Goodwin are that's a huge lawyer lobbyist firm. Our House Speaker, Matthew Ritter, is a partner at Shipment and Goodwin. I recently learned that Senator Christopher Murphy, his father, is also, I'm sorry, Christopher Murphy's father's name eludes me right now, but Christopher Murphy's father is also a partner at Shipment and Goodwin. They got like a lot of money. They got like $6 million. They got over $6 million. Do you see this? And guess what? They was forgiven. The loan was forgiven. There's a place where it says that over here too. It'll tell you everything. So the first round was April 15th, right? Rent. What do you mean rent? They had $1 million in rent? Payroll? $5 million bucks? What? Companies and nonprofit organizations that receive PPE loans may have the loans forgiven. And they did. Their loans are forgiven. Hey, landlords, did anybody come and forgive your mortgage? I bet you could have used something to bail you out of pet tenants not paying their rent, because people will say that landlords are like something like Shipment and Goodwin, but they're not. Landlords, most of them are small businesses, people who buy an extra home because they want to have a business and they want to invest in something for their future, which I always thought was the American dream. But for some reason nowadays, I get people screaming at me that that's white privilege. Black people own property too, by the way. I have friends that own property, and Black folks really don't think that white privilege nonsense, that at least the Black folks I know that I hang out with who are my friends don't buy into all that nonsense. White privilege? Really? Anyway, if you really want to talk about white privilege, seriously, look at this guy. I'm going to pull him up for you. Matthew Ritter. He is the House Speaker. His father was a House Speaker back in the day as well. His mother sits on the Connecticut Supreme Court. Alama appointed Matthew Ritter's mother. She has a different last name. It's like it's Kathleen Heller, I want to say, or something like that. She has a different last name. Anyway, there you go. This is Shipment and Goodwin, but let's take a look. So Norm Needleman is also in there. He's got Tower Laboratories. So you can go in and you can type any name you want into this here. So we could do Tower Laboratories. I spelled that wrong. I think I might have spelled that wrong. So Norm Needleman got a few $1,000s. Let me go back over here. Let me pull you guys up. Hold on a second while I get this together. So Norm Needleman got a couple of $1 million out of the PPE stuff. And he it's just like crazy. Absolutely crazy. For some reason, I'm not finding it. Probably misspelling Tower Laboratories. I'm the world's worst speller. I'll admit it, guys. I'm the world's worst speller sometimes, and I'm not going to do that live in real time. I just want you guys to see that this is around, and it's available for you guys to look at. You could type in anything you want. Norm Needleman also got a few $1 million from the PPE loans. The PP loans. So here we go. Here's the Tower Laboratories. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, so Norm Needleman got a couple $1 million with the PP loans, and I totally spelled that wrong, but I got it right now. And it's LTD. So you just want to make sure it's spelled right. Let me put LTD in there. There we go. Let me hold on a second while I get you guys in here. So you guys can take a look at this. Tower Laboratories, Centerbrook, $2 million, almost $3 million. And you can see forgiven as of June 11th. Okay. So that means that Norm Needleman, the senator in the 33rd District of Connecticut, his PPP loan, which is federal government money, the feds have given out billions of dollars during COVID. Not to you, not to me, not to landlords who have had a moratorium on the ability to collect rent from tenants who aren't paying. And it's not all like sad stories like people are really good people and they would be paying their rent but COVID. No, a lot of the people taking advantage and not paying their rent are like people that would just take advantage and not pay rent. The CDC and all these entities really don't have a right to tell landlords to do this and then give no recourse. So Governor Ned Lamont set up Unite Connecticut. Unite Connecticut is connected to Unite Us. Unite Us is part of Annie Huntress Lamont's company, Oak Healthcare FinTech. Unite Us is a holding. The Hospital Association is now a part of Unite Us and is using Unite Us as a means to pull all of their records and all of their communications and their billing and everything is now going through Unite Us. And Unite Connecticut is the social end of that, where your social workers are going to work directly with the people. And what they're doing with this Unite Connecticut and Unite Us is doing, they're not helping the landlords. What they're doing is they're giving they're kind of helping the tenants. So they make a deal with the landlords. The landlords have to say they have to keep this tenant. Now, some of these tenants, if anybody out there is a landlord, you know that some tenants are great, but there are some tenants that are not great, and you don't want to enable tenants like that. But some of these landlords are in a particular situation where they're behind thousands and thousands of dollars, some in the double digits of money, with tenants that they really want to go. And then what Unite Us and Unite Connecticut is saying to these landlords is that they can't evict them for so many months if they take this money. So strings attached. And I'm talking about this connected to the PPP loans because I'm pointing to the fact that people like Norm Needleman, who is the owner and president of Tower Laboratories Ltd, is a millionaire. And he got almost $3 million. Shipman and Goodwin, here, let me go back to them. I think it's Goodwin with a W. There it is, yeah, LLP. So you could see there, look at this. They even got one in Charleston. I mean, like, this is crazy. No, that's Goodwin and Goodwin. Sorry about that. So here we go. And this is really fascinating. And their loan was forgiven too. Their loan was forgiven also in June. And, you know, I just look at this and I'm blown away because I know so many people right now who are struggling. And this is Shipman and Goodwin, okay? This is $6 million. This is like a lot of freaking money. This is one of the biggest lobbyist law firms in the country. Okay, they are instrumental in vaccine mandates. I'm going to pull up a photo for you guys. Bear with me. I'm going to leave this up here while I look for this photo. Oh, there's my myocarditis thing. I just want to pull up this photo. Hold on while I grab it, and I don't make you guys dizzy. I should have pulled that up at the beginning of the show, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to show you how Shipman and Goodwin has been very instrumental in educating employers, big companies, on how they could get away with mandating a vaccine that isn't even had FDA approval. And just a little tidbit about the Comirnaty vaccine, which is also known as the Pfizer shot. Now, when the Pfizer was approved, what was approved is a thing called Comirnaty, which is what Europe has been using from Pfizer. Now, here in the United States, we've been using the Pfizer BioNTech, and it's like a number BNH1 something. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's not called Comirnaty. Now, they've admitted that they're different vaccines. You can't make this stuff up, okay, guys? They're different, but they're the same. Never mind that they have different names. Never mind that one of them still is under an EUA, and one of them is under FDA approval. Just saying. And when you look at these studies, you'll see, I'll just take you back to here before I get to this other thing. You'll see, they don't know. Okay? When I asked this expert a question, as journalists don't ask, that's why people like me are, you know, I can't work in the mainstream media. I can't do it. I never could. I'm trained in broadcast communications, what I do. But I could never work for the mainstream. I've always been off the mainstream path. It's just not my thing. But no journalists ask these questions. No, they don't ask because they're not getting paid to be a journalist. They're getting paid to be a puppet. So Any journalist who is a good journalist is going to go and read the comorbidity package insert. And they're going to know that it says the CDC has published considerations related to myocarditis and pericarditis after vaccination, including for vaccination of individuals with a history of myocarditis and pericarditis. It also says they don't know, although some cases required intensive care. It's no big deal, right? Just a little intensive care. They'll be fine. So, data available from short-term follow-up suggestions that most individuals have had resolution of symptoms with conservative management. Information is not yet available about potential long-term sequelae. You know what that means? They don't know what the long-term consequences are. They have no idea. By their own study. You know how long they studied the kids and the people in their study before they unblinded them? 4 months. 4 months. You want to talk science. So it's just insane. So I want to show you, just jump right back into Shipman and Goodwin. So Shipman and Goodwin, who's gotten over just an incredible amount of money from the government. Shipman and Goodwin, who is Matthew Ritter, our House Speaker over at Shipman and Goodwin. He is the House Speaker, and he is also a partner. Also, our lovely senator. Okay, here we go. Got it. So let me pull this up. I got 2 things I want to pull up for you. And I heard that this was taken off recently. Is this? Nope, that's not the one I want. Here we go. So this is Shipman and Goodwin. So these are the guys that just got, they're being rewarded for their, their loyalty. So they got, let me move my head over here. Let me put that over here. So here it goes. It just goes with COVID-19 vaccines finally arriving. Woohoo! Shipman and Goodwin is going to teach employers how to fire you for not being jabbed. Yeah! That's the American way. No, that's not the American way. That's the corrupted way. This Shipman and Goodwin, let me just reiterate. House Speaker Matthew Ritter, 1st District of Hartford, Connecticut, Speaker of the House, partner at Shipman and Goodwin. Senator Murphy's father. Can't think of Senator Murphy's father's name off the top of my head, but I'm going to tell you Senator Murphy's father. I want to say it's Sam, but I could be wrong. Senator Christopher Murphy's father is also a partner at Shipman and Goodwin. So they put together this webinar. Let's see if I can just blow it up for you guys so you can read this a little bit without. It's still a little tricky because it's in there pretty good. So can we mandate that our employees get vaccinated? And this is, this was older. This is before I think the vaccine was even out. It was just coming out, and I pulled this off their website. Somebody told me they scrubbed it off their website now. It's not up there anymore. I don't know. I didn't double check. I screenshot stuff. And just to let you guys know, if they do play this game where they pull stuff off the internet, you could go to the Wayback Machine and you could pull all that stuff right back up and you could see what they're trying to hide. They are getting a little better at scrubbing things. So it's really nuts. It really is like an information war. We are in a battle for this information. I mean, I was put in Facebook jail for 30 days for sharing the package insert and asking journalistic type questions. And within... I must have had a troll. I probably still do. I went through and blocked some people that I suspect could be trolls on my page, but you can't keep track of all that. Thank you, Scott. So Scott Murphy is partner at Shipman and Goodwin. So if we mandate the vaccines, what things should we consider? There are numerous legal issues that can arise with a mandatory vaccine program. These are lawyers educating employers how to force a jab on you that you don't want or lose your job. And let me just say, according to many different sources, hold steady, don't quit. Let them fire you. Somebody was saying you won't collect unemployment. I don't think they can stop that if they fire you. You let them fire you. There's also, I've heard lawyers say this too, let them fire you. Let them freaking fire you and sue them. Okay? Sue them for unemployment and sue them for discrimination. Sue them. We need lawyers. Where are you? We need you. There are a bunch of them working, but we need every lawyer on deck who has a soul. Okay? Because this is insane. But don't just quit. I had a parent reach out to me and tell me that her husband quit his dream job. That's very sad because he doesn't want this jab to protect himself and especially their children. Because you can't comply with tyrants, okay? And I'm not calling for violence, and I want people to be really, to understand that, because they're trying to paint people like me like we're violent or domestic terrorists. It's really sick. So they're trying to make it like it's illegal, like it's bad to have honest discussions like this and empower people on what to do to fight back. This is a pharmaceutical product that is liability free. I have interviewed people who have been injured by this product. No government is going to help you. No jobs are going to help you. All three of these women that I interviewed, you can see the interview on my website. It's up there. I put it on Rumble, or I think it's on BitChute. But there's a link directly to that interview with these three women. I get stories from people all over the country who are suffering from injuries and no one is there to help them. I think everybody needs to make their own medical choices. I'm not advocating what anyone should do. I'm advocating that you become educated and you realize the nefariousness of what's happening. This is Shipman and Goodwin. Shipman and Goodwin just got this big, fat, juicy loan. Like we could just jump back and forth. Now I got it up there. Shipman and Goodwin teaching their employers. Let me show you here. Oops. Well, that's an old slide. This is from a previous show from a while ago, with the Who playing shenanigans. There you go. There's the man of the hour, Matthew Vaccine Ritter. Talk about white privilege, guys, and I absolutely hate that term, but this is a dude that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His father was House Speaker. He comes from lots of cashola, and he don't give a squat butt about Hartford or you. What he cares about is mandating your life, because you just a peasant. You too stupid to think about what you're going to do with your body, okay? I'm not kidding you. That's what these people think. They're above you. You're just a little peon peasant. You're going to do what they say. Then look at this. So let's just keep reading over here for the fun of it. Okay, although the EEOC guidance does not explicitly answer that question, it is clear from the guidance that mandatory vaccination programs are permissible under federal law. When and how employers can mandate vaccines will depend on a variety of factors, including the availability of the vaccines. Employers should be mindful that the current COVID-19 vaccine is approved for emergency usage only. And then, it goes into say, we won't read through the whole thing. It goes into say the EEOC guidance makes clear that employers must discuss whether reasonable accommodations are available. This is if people refuse. To employees who cannot get the vaccine due to disability or due to religious beliefs. So you still can get a religious exemption. Teachers still can get religious exemptions. I've talked to a few different teachers about this, and they are in the process of applying for their religious exemptions. Apparently Yale put a time limit on when people could get exemptions. So for nurses and doctors or healthcare staff who didn't get that documentation in soon enough, I'm not really sure what your legal recourse. I would say don't quit your job. If you don't want the jab, you have a right to refuse. Make them fire you. Make them fire you. Maybe it's time for you to sit home and collect some unemployment and take a little break because you worked your ass off through COVID-19 when no vaccine was around and you took care of people sick. You went into the belly of the beast as brave as ever, and there's hearts all over celebrating healthcare workers, but 50% of them don't want this jab. Now they're tossed to the curb. Their way to go to love your healthcare workers. God bless the healthcare workers. We appreciate you. We appreciate your sacrifices. We appreciate what you've done. We appreciate the hard work that you put in. And I'll tell you this too. There's been a shortage of nurses for a while. Nurses are very mistreated at these conglomerate-style hospitals. Hospitals are about CEOs and monies these days. I'm going to be getting into a lot more about that coming in the future. Now, I don't want this video to go on too long. There's a couple of little things more than I want to show you. So I'm going to try and keep this within the hour so I can upload it up to Rumble afterwards. I do have a pirate YouTube channel that's called Sparks Fly, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I believe I'm still broadcasting on Facebook, but I don't know how long that's going to last. So one of the ways that you can keep up with me and my work is if you follow me on Telegram. So join my channel, J Cherry Presents. You can find that online. Sorry to put that like going live in there. It's just where the little, I'll put this J Cherry Presents here where you can get onto my website. I just have dropped a couple of articles that you might find of interest. I'm not going to do videos on that here on Facebook, but let me just take you over to a couple little things, and then I'll run you over to my website, and just to show you some of the stories that are up there now that you can read, and a couple little videos that I want to play. So I might even go a little bit over the hour, but there's 2 videos I want to play for you, and I'm going to just show you some of the articles at the top of my website right now. So this is Connecticut. This is Connecticut. Guys, this is Connecticut. According to the law, a driver must yield at the pedestrian. This is what the Connecticut legislators did while they were drunk with the doors locked at the Capitol, okay? And then this has nothing to do with the vaccine debate, but it just goes to show you this insanity. So they have this new pedestrian law. Let's like take a look at this together. You can't make this up. It's like the land of wackiness. So according to the law, a driver must yield at the pedestrian is in any portion of the crosswalk, which I always kind of thought was the case, especially when they have that sign. I remember I moved to Connecticut. I was terrified to cross the street. I'm like, I'm not walking down the street on this busy street with that silly yellow sign with all these cars going by. But, you know, people do, you know, I stop. I've been here now 30 years, so I'm more used to that strangeness. I think a few other states might have it, but they've added to it to make it even more, like, wacky. I mean, that was weird enough for me coming up from New York. Like, oh, my God, you know, you're going to get killed crossing the road with this little stupid sign that's supposedly going to stop traffic. So what they've done is... any portion or person anywhere it steps into the road and starts waving at you, you got to stop. So, let me see where we should start off. According to the law, a driver must yield if the pedestrian is within any portion of the crosswalk, steps to the curb at a crosswalk entrance, and indicates intent to cross the road by raising his or her hand or arm toward the oncoming traffic. So, you know, you can, he's going to run in front of your car. You got to stop. So they can come out and put their hand up, and they got to stop, and it indicates intent to cross the road by moving into the crosswalk entrance. Anybody, part or extension of a body part, including a wheelchair, a cane, a walking stick, or a crutch, a bicycle, blah, 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 a harness dog. Drivers who fail to yield. Here comes the kicker. You get a $500 fine. What if you just have a situation where somebody's just in a pissy mood, they say that you didn't properly stop, and they just decide to call and say that you did something, and who's to prove any of this? But you're going to get a $500 fine. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, Connecticut, but when the Connecticut legislative body locks you out of the Capitol and they pass laws like drunken sailors, you know what? They passed more laws this session during COVID when it was all emergencies. They passed more laws and had more bills go through this legislative body like drunken sailors here in the lost Constitution state, like drunken freaking sailors. These legislators, all of them should be fired. They should all be fired. And where is the GOP? There's a few people like Ann Delphinier, Robert Sampson, Doug Dubinsky's been great, Craig Frenchstein's been pretty good. Where are the other Republicans? Where are the other Republicans? We need the minority party to stand up and say, wait a minute. You can't lock the public out of the building. And you're drinking while you're passing laws? You can't be drinking on the job. Most people would be fired. And then they're passing these stupid laws. So let me just say more about this. There's a little bit more that you should know, okay? Suppose you have an accident, like something happens, right? Where you open a door. Listen to this. Legislators and in addition, drivers have to adhere to a new dooring rule. Drivers cannot open a vehicle door if it hits or gets in the way of a pedestrian or a bicycle. This rule also goes into effect October 1st. Legislators and other state officials want to further improve pedestrian safety. Doesn't sound safe to me, and I don't want the government to keep me safe. Thank you very much. According to the DOT, there was a 55% increase in pedestrian deaths between 2009 and 2018. More people, more cars on the road. Math. Each year, about 1,500 pedestrians and 550 bicyclists are struck by cars in Connecticut roadways, said the DOT. Well, yeah, I can imagine why, because I see some of these bicyclists ride on these crazy roads, and I love biking. Biking is one of my favorite things to do, don't get me wrong, but some of the bicyclists are on these crazy roads. And did you notice that downtown Middletown closed? They're like closing up this street, and they painted all these giant bicycle things and made this weird bicycle path on this tiny narrow street and made it a one-way. What a mess. Just nuts. So there you have it. Now, a couple of things I want to play for you. 2 videos I want to play, and then I really am done. I'm going to take you over to my website real quick. So this, I play this all the time. I'm going to play it again and again and again and again. This is epidemiologist Matthew Carter. Matthew Carter was up at the Capitol in March, right before all the COVID craziness happened. Matthew Carter is the state's epidemiologist. He said this on testing. This is in March. Okay, let's see. Did we lose that? Hold on a second. No. Did we lose the testing? Let me see. I might have lost that video, guys. How did I do that? Let me see if I can locate the file. Just a minute, guys. Apologize about that. I'm not sure exactly what happened to that file. I lost the Matthew Carter file. All right, so I'll just tell you what happens because unfortunately I lost the Matthew Carter. Matthew Carter said you don't test healthy people. You don't. I'm gonna pull that up for you. I have it on a BitChute. Actually, no, actually, you know where I have it? I have it on Instagram. I gotta pull that up for you guys because it's a really important video. Let me just go in here. So this is Matthew Carter, and let me go IGTV. Where is he? Matthew Carter. Here he is. So let me get this up here, screen share. Here we go. So there's a little bit of stuff in there for a second. Is this playing? Hold on a second. Let me make sure that's playing. Yes, it is playing. Oh, we need volume. So it's just some of the screenshots are, you know,
what is the percentage of people we're actually going to be testing for coronavirus that are showing symptoms? Are we sort of rationing out who we can test? Because I know you said it could be the flu, it could be cold.
This is true for all laboratory tests that are done. They should only be done on people who are sick, because as what was mentioned earlier, testing somebody who's not sick is much more likely to give you a false positive than anything else. So in medicine, as a rule, we don't test people who are not sick. This is not a test for, are you a carrier of this virus? The reason to do this test is actually to establish a diagnosis in people who are sick. So we know who has coronavirus infection and who has some other cause for their illness.
Yeah, what do you think about that, guys? Hold on a second while I get rid of that. Apologize about that. So that was Matthew Carter. I'm sorry that the audio in that is bad. That is just a weird play with Instagram. I don't know why that happened like that. Apologize for not. I had the video in my system and I must have put it somewhere else. I'm not going to find it live, but that's Matthew Carter. I play that all the time. I have that up also on Rumble, so you can share that around. It's like a 30-second clip. And I have another clip that I want to share you. Now, I'm in touch with an insider at Yale, and they've been sharing some stuff with me from inside the hospital, and they shared this video with me, and you need to see this.
Although we are now requiring vaccines except for exemptions or certain deferrals, if a patient asks about our vaccination status, are we obligated to disclose this to them?
Nope. We don't have to reveal personal health care information to patients.
Are patients allowed to ask that they be taken care of only by fully vaccinated staff? No.
They can ask.
They can ask, yeah.
So there you go. I do as I say, or do you know, rules for thee, not for me. That's inside Yale, New Haven, okay? That's what the doctors are saying. No, they can ask. Let's play it one more time just because it just really blows my mind. Do as I say.
Although we are now requiring vaccines except for exemptions or certain deferrals, if a patient asks about our vaccination status, are we obligated to disclose this to them?
Nope. We don't have to reveal personal health care information to patients.
are patients allowed to ask that they be taken care of only by fully vaccinated staff? No.
They can ask. Yeah.
They can ask, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's inside Yale. Yeah. So let me just, this last thing, guys, and I'm going to wrap it up because I want to keep these shows within an hour. It's tough. There's a lot going on. And I appreciate all of you that reach out to me with information. It really, and I hate to even use this terminology because of the way it's been propagandized, but we the people, I'm just going to say that, it's we the people, endowed by the rights of God-given right to freedom. The government serves us, not the other way around. What we are seeing today needs to be resisted with every ounce of your being. Now is the time for you to get up, use your voice. You have the truth as your sword. This is a nonviolent action. I just want to be really explicitly clear about that. So I'm going to come back in and do another show about some of the scary language that's coming out of the Connecticut Democratic majority wanting to criminalize people like me who are very active and vocal and asking them questions that the media is not asking, and reporting on the stuff that they don't want reported, and protesting as well, because this is not okay. So on my website, you can see I just uploaded, this is a really important article. I'm not going to get into all of it now. Oops, sorry guys. So you can see you can find, I don't know why this has football. I didn't put it. This is a music thing. I don't know why it does that. But anyway, let me just show you. So, what you could do here is, this is my most recent article, and I have the screenshots. These are all from within the Yale New Haven. And there's a video here on the blog. I'm probably not going to do, I don't know, I might just put them on Facebook anyway, just into whatever. You kick me off, I'll keep, you follow me on Telegram. I continued the whole time I was off Facebook doing my work, doing what I'm doing, and growing the Telegram channel, still doing videos. I'm definitely on Twitter. You can find me at jcherrywesu on Twitter. It's just jcherrywesu. You could get the right from, actually you could see my Twitter on my blog, so you can see the feed that I have. You can also support my work and our foundation that does other stuff in the arts as well. We cover arts, culture, and current affairs, which takes up a lot of our time lately because there's a lot of stuff happening in our world right now, reshaping entirely the American society. That when I was a kid growing up, I know we're not perfect and we've fallen a long way off the wagon, but one of the things that I think about Martin Luther King, and I think about with the Black Lives Matter movement. Why isn't Dr. Martin Luther King referred to the way George Floyd is? And I don't understand that whole thing where I don't think that man should have died. I think it's terrible, violence like that, but I don't understand. He was high on fentanyl. He was engaged in criminal activities. How is that a hero when Martin Luther King is a real hero who said, judge a person by the content of their character, not the color of their skin? I mean, we've really gone into this world where nothing makes sense. And so, there's like this way of thinking that I'm like, where did all of this come from? And it all connects. So this is Yale, inside Yale. This is a screenshot. And you can go and you could read the article on my blog. Let me just get it over here. So you could read the article on my blog. This one, there are two articles. There are two recent drops. And you could see here, I think you can see here. Let me blow it up. So the question is, just curious, what animals were the vaccines tested on? This is a doctor. You can look him up. He's a doctor at Yale. He's been there probably about 15 years or so. Look what he says. A few 100 million Homo sapiens. It's like the same logic. Like we had the civil rights movement in this country, and we had this beautiful man, Martin Luther King, with all of these writings and speeches, and left us with these beautiful things. And there's other leaders in the community, black leaders in the community that are, it's not George Floyd. This is like crazy. And we don't honor the civil rights movement in this country. Like, that's beautiful. Why aren't we honoring that? How is that not part of these discussions? It just goes, I mean, I know it might seem abstract. How are you connecting this to these Yale doctors and this? It's just like this kind of reforming the way we're thinking as Americans, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And these things are connected. It's like a, you know, where we're given this kind of a very emotive thing, and people get emotive and they start to react based on emotions without critical thought. And so that, I think, is one of our heaviest problems. But this is on my blog. You can go and see the article. I have a couple that I have just put out. This is the first one. And then I also did, let's see, where is the, hold on a second, guys. Oh, I see what the problem is. So this one also, this is more, the other one goes, this one's going into more detail, giving more context to what's being said, and a little bit of history about Yale, and that's probably why I'm leading up to talking about Martin Luther King, because the Yale founder was actually a slave trader. Just, you know, interesting. So this article is up on the blog too. And on that note, I think I have shared enough information for the day, keeping this into an hour. Hopefully I can still see you here on Facebook for these lives, but if not, come join my Telegram channel. I am doing these lives all the time, all over the place, and not just on one platform or two platforms, but this is what I do. I'm a broadcaster. I need to broadcast. I think it's important now more than ever to use the tools that we have. Everybody has different tools. Mine is as a broadcaster. Everybody has different things. Some people are more into like researching. Some people are more into organizing events and planning protests. Whatever your talent is, and believe me, you have something to add to this. All of us together are equally important in how we tackle this. All of our energies are needed. You're needed, I'm needed, we are all needed, all of us, to fight this back, to restore sanity and protect our children. Because the reality is this. This is the reality. This is the reality, okay? And you get a doctor telling you that this is no big deal, don't worry about it, you should just do what I tell you. And then if my child is injured, nobody is going to be there for me. It sucks to be you, and that's a true story. And moms all across this country know this. Because this has been a battle that moms have been fighting for a long time. These women that I have become friends with, and men too, but it's a lot of women, guys. Sorry, not to put you down there. A lot of men coming up to the plate now with COVID-19. But the women were really strong in the beginning, bringing this together, and men too. So I don't want to put them to it. There's a lot of great guys out there that have been fighting this long time battle. So it's not just a women thing. But I just, as a mom, tell a mom, I'm identifying with the other moms. And, you know, back in the day, I ran into a mom at the Capitol who was crying in the elevator, and I like took her hand. I was like, just come with me. You know, she's like, I don't know what to do. She's a little baby on her back, and she's crying. I don't know how to protect my family. And you know what? This woman now is like fierce. She's beautiful. And it makes me emotional because as moms, we have to save our kids, man. So on that note, I gotta go take care of my children. Stay strong, guys. We got this together. We do.